There is something that is happening in Ghana currently. It is trending, and I'm very sure most of you or a lot of you have actually seen the videos circulating on TikTok and all other social media platforms. It is about the Igbo King in Ghana and how he is portraying himself in this country. Ghanaians are actually reacting, Nigerians are also reacting to what is going on, and I want us to go into the video, watch some of these videos, come back, and I have my take on this.
There is a disturbing development creeping up in Ghana, and every well-meaning Ghanaian will have to sit up and grant me your attention for just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. A man born in Nigeria who settled in Ghana some decades ago and over time became well-respected leader among his tribesmen has now set up a kingdom for himself in our country, ladies and gentlemen. He is an Igbo man bearing the title 𝙏𝙝𝙬𝙧 𝙏𝙝𝙪. I hope I'm saying it right. He has the title 𝙏𝙫 in the Igbo Ghana, which translates King of Igbo people in Ghana. His tribesmen in Ghana crowned him this position and the title in 2012. And these are his images, ladies and gentlemen. A very fine gentleman whom we are told is married to a Ghanaian. And as a typical Ghanaian, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with that at all. But many people, including myself, will have a problem with anyone or any situation that has the potential to undermine our sovereignty as a republic. What has made our country livable for all people for many years is our hospitality towards one another and to foreigners, ladies and gentlemen. And that cannot be circumvented by any external tribe nor group of people. Ghana has a common chieftaincy practice of installing foreigners as development chiefs for the purpose of providing value to our local communities. This is a typical thing in Ghana. And hence, I thought what this man and his tribesmen were doing was something in line of that. Until, ladies and gentlemen, I read from an internet publication that they, and I mean the Igbo people, or he as a king in Ghana, has acquired acres of lands to build an Igbo town and establish an Igbo kingdom within Ghana. This is where I became disturbed, even though I'm yet to see any substantive evidence for this acquisition. That would be totally unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow Ghanaians, I want to believe this is a falsified story. But if not, this is not something we should entertain or allow to continue. Ghana is a sovereign country alongside our kings and our chiefs. They are called kings and chiefs for historical reasons. They have fought and protected their lands and been the source of the unity of our people till this modern era. It is not a title given out of charity, ladies and gentlemen. There is a meaning and a story behind every stool or throne in Ghana. There is a story behind every stool, land, and family lineage that authenticates the royalty of our kings and chiefs. These institutions are not to be toyed with nor replicated in any shape or form, ladies and gentlemen. People have fought and died in the protection of their clans and tribes and lands in Ghana. It used to be our system of governance before the colonizers came in, and therefore should be respected whether by foreigners or locals, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening with this self-acclaimed king of Igbos in Ghana, if true, will be a direct infringement on our chieftaincy structure and the sovereignty of our country as a whole. This cannot happen in any other region outside of Accra, and even in Nigeria. Can this even happen in Ashanti region, ladies and gentlemen, or any of the northern regions? In fact, this shouldn't happen in any other country, and shouldn't happen for that matter in Ghana. The Igbo people of Biafra need a king and true leadership in these times of struggle for an Igbo nation. That cannot be done in a strange land. What this man is trying to do in Ghana will undermine his own people's effort for freedom from Nigeria. And I don't think his intention is to create a kingdom here in Ghana and move his people along. If he indeed has the resources and the know-how to lead his people, this is the time to stand up strong for your people in Abia and Anambra and Ebonyi and Enugu and in Imo states in Nigeria. Biafra is at crossroads with the federal government of Nigeria, and we as Ghanaians don't want to meddle in that. To be crowned a king is not simply by an election. It must be tied to the lineage of your family, the land of your tribe or family, the historical achievements or significance of your family name in relation to the community you lead, ladies and gentlemen. You don't just blip on the radar in a community that has its own leadership structure and annex your throne to theirs, ladies and gentlemen. That is not how it's done, and doesn't make you a king nor a leader. And one reason we have to make this topical is because of how politicians relate with them. During the times of the formal government or the president, this man was seen, invited, and associated with the leadership of our country. And before the elections were held last year, he paid a visit to our current president. This is what he has used to gain for himself the popularity and the needed attention, ladies and gentlemen. But that's definitely not what Ghana needs at this time. We are not in need of more kings and chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. We have a diplomatic relationship with Nigeria, and that should be observed. The idea of our immigration officers inviting him and working with him is not going to be a healthy thing for Ghana and Nigeria's relationship in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to pay attention to all these. Nigeria has a high commissioner in Ghana. He is the representation of Nigerian government in Ghana. He is the one to be consulted or engaged on whatever the issues may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we the people of Ghana must be vigilant with the happenings in our country. We have come a long way with our differences, and that shouldn't be undermined under any circumstance. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome people from every part of Africa and the world to our country because that is who we are as a people. We are inherently peaceful people who just want to go about our business and live in peace with all men. We have what many African countries never had. We are one of the few African countries that has never experienced a civil war since independence, and we've had a stable democracy in the last 33 years. We have successfully seen the transition of political powers in that time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot be naive of the threats to these achievements. There is absolutely no need nor room for an Igbo king of Ghana or Yoruba king of Ghana or any sort of king on our land. How does it even work, ladies and gentlemen? Does it mean we will have to resort to him when an Igbo person is at loggerheads with our laws or not? That cannot be, because no Nigerian travels to Ghana or to any country on a passport issued by an Igbo state. It is Nigeria we deal with and should remain so until there is a country called Igbo. Nigeria is a friend and a strategic partner of Ghana, and that is how far it should go. A similar thing was happening in the 𝙏𝙝 area in the Greater Accra region when a group of Lebanese people bought lands and wanted to build a Lebanese community that will prohibit Ghanaians from accessing it, ladies and gentlemen. They likewise wanted a town and a system for themselves within Ghana. Could that ever happen in Lebanon or in Nigeria for Ghanaians under any circumstance? Ladies and gentlemen, let's be guided and not be naive. What then becomes of our originality should that happen on our soil? It is true that historically, the Ga tribe originated from an Igbo community in Nigeria, but those who actually migrated left for a reason and chose to stay and not return. They have since then installed their own kings and chiefs at this point and contributed significantly to our nation's building. The Ga tribe in Ghana live a completely different reality from the Igbos in Nigeria. Don't let the few overlapping cultural similarities confuse you. They've moved on, and we should leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ghana has its own problems to deal with. Let everyone go and deal with their problems in their individual countries. Our chieftaincy problems are already a headache for us. We don't need more. And this is my message to the Igbo King in Ghana. Oga, we have welcomed you with an open arm and made your stay comfortable in Ghana. We have given you a home away from your home, something that should be respected. Don't start anything that will ruin this situation. I'm told you are a generous man who has helped many of our people in the community you live, and that's totally welcomed, Oga. And I understand you are doing this for the interest of your tribesmen in Ghana. That is totally welcome. But please be reminded and be guided that Ghana is not a designation for your kingdom. That will be in Nigeria. You are at liberty to live within the confines of our laws and borders for as long as you would want. But that should be it, Oga. Our politicians may make promises to you and grant you access to certain high-profile meetings in the country, but we the people will see you for the foreigner that you are. As it stands now, there is no indication in any official government publication or credible Ghanaian website or media that suggests that your stool has been gazetted in Ghana. Let's leave it at that, Oga, and let's allow for Ghana to continue to live in the peace that we have. Thank you for watching, and hope this video finds its way to him. Of 5 different calls in the last 24 hours from people who claim to be prominent Igbo leaders of different groups concerning my take on the Igbo King in Ghana story. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share some portion of their conversation with you and leave out their names, and I believe you want to see or hear what they had to say. Now, 24 hours ago, I published this video about the Igbo King in Ghana, on how most Ghanaians and myself feel about his activities in our country. And I'm speaking specifically about his involvement in our politics and chieftaincy activities in Ghana. I wanted to make sure he was reminded of his status living as a non-Ghanaian and therefore couldn't be enthroned as a king under any circumstance in our country. Then I started receiving calls from mostly Nigerians living overseas and in Nigeria on their reaction to my video. I want to summarize all they said in one page so I can also respond to what they said. So this is how it went. Cyrus, you got it all wrong on this one. We love your channel and your push for the unity of Africa, and especially your research works. But on this one, you totally missed it. I see. It is an Igbo thing we do all around the world for the purpose of uniting our people wherever we find ourselves, and has no political ties to it. Please bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I am just paraphrasing what they said. We, the Igbo people in Nigeria, therefore recognize such groups and chiefs, but disapprove of their interest in making it a political movement or associating it with the politics of the host country. They also said that's how we, the Igbo people, are able to bring our people under checks when it has to do with doing the right things in the countries where we live. Therefore, we have similar associations in other states in Nigeria and in every other part of Africa. This is coming from them. However, our true kings in Nigeria bears the title of Obi, as in the Obi of Onisha, for instance. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Those are the royalties we have and submit to according to them. So they mentioned that they don't bow to these ones who are elected in foreign lands or countries. They don't serve nor treat them like they serve and treat their kings in their native homes, ladies and gentlemen. But these appointed persons will sort of become their mouthpiece when, for instance, they face challenges where they are and will need a united voice to speak with the authorities in the countries where they live, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not a political movement, nor a royalty or kingdom expansion, nor a Biafran movement, but it is purely Igbo cultural thing amongst them to mobilize and to get to know each other for the purpose of doing business and being of assistance to one another amongst their kinsmen. This is the summary of what I heard, and I hope I captured everything that they said, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is my take. I first of all appreciate their getting in touch with me. This shows how far our platform has reached. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, in as much as it sounds innocent and peaceful and useful to them, it appears rather strange and suspicious to the average Ghanaian, and I'll explain.
That's a problem. Na kremriba ena yegro ho sesonso no amede de bia meka senka Ghana fo ewo panyi bia senka ye wona no make buni din emani party a mesi Professor Kofi Abdulfa Buzia Ghana fo enkai ne papa because na papa no wo ade bi woni nim a ohuni achichira de na Ghana fo ehunu abra Yapam Nigeria for Tito Nigeria for the Dosu Ghana. Mrs. Senka, what was going to do now? The Konaba, Kagana for Kayi and Kaira. Because Lagos and Kwa population, and no my Ghana in the population you pay. Lagos, and the Ghana population you pay. Eh? Sadio Mui, I am paying for 2 hours. Or more every day, you know. Who to be free Wukum, Ebedi, or my Hinawaha. Next say nipa Ghana for me di haye oto asase di amahoho eti edi na ma wo ye Ghana ni say e wasase eti say oto asase nyina de ma hoho ni yeska dible e kona ba na hoho to asase ni wi a wo Ghana ni no o ma na ye odia dabi mo because asase no e na ma wo ye Ghana ni anti o ma na ye odia no enti oto ma hoho a o ma na ye odia bi e ye odia ye be say mpanifo ye be say himfo binum omunwene enkwachiri ye manipa babi manetena we hoho a o mani babi e manetena ne mu yenton enfama no ono abaye man hene a one bobo ne himfo e wo region mu besre e himfo aka amwo other regions mamu masa de ne koso se muni Nigeria fo a wa wontina hodan ne bi woni momo na America krempo mu aba Ghana no wo hwe ahoyira Ghana fo mu kom America krempo aba Ghana no wo hwe ahoyira mu kom ena yakum emre bi because about 2012 mu September wo enya ba ko de pentoa etwa Ghana ni bi emi no Ghana no se ono ne girlfriend no hu se akura no e wo bra foforo na Nigeria ni wo Ghana ni betuma pentoa e de wo Nigeria ni e wo Nigeria bondezu na yeti ho eso sa ni mu wisu enema beble no mbaye o maye enso ye da so to ehwe wo mu because I just say obi amfa ho Ghana no e da autopilot nti obi awura manu a dope e na we obi awura ma dope e na we ye hwe yi o na musuo e ba e monka ye musuo e ba e monka ye
obi was say obusa osisa ya wo Ghana for mo ye ahemfo so e wo Europe obi so comment ode ba no
oh oye ohin e wo Europe ento asase bi amfa ma on to asase ma na wo hin na wudi ha no yen gazette wo Europe krobia mu e wo o ahemfie se wo ya gazette wo wa so ye hin kwa ne yetimi chu pan wo ne yetimi chu e tena prebu pan wo ko wo hin no enya dwuma ha wo na de gigi oni komi ha wo ye hin ma ho eya ani je na de gigi but we no de ono omu no ye ho no minua enya te ha o utimi nya ne ope komi ha ifa kwa woka no busan se oti komi ha yi obetuma ye e sa ni me ya akoyi free Nigeria beta Ghana wo ye obetuma ye komi ha utimi e ko na ba yen kan kure utimi ye but yet who aye dey e ko so eti ye kan say be jam justify ane wa hemfo ha ane o man no eguso a ese no ye kwa grada nsi musu ene
Bakri Igbo, they know be fine now. So today now, yeah, I want to talk about the Igbo King for Ghana. A lot of people don't tag me. People don't write essay. Who it is my DM? They tell me about all kinds of things. They educate me about the Ghanaian culture, the chieftaincy, and all those kind of things. I know say this is new to my Ghanaian brothers and sisters. But I want you to understand that the Igbo people always have a king wherever they go. We have a traditional king in Nigeria. We don't really there. We can't get any country they go. If you go China now, yeah, they get Igbo King for there. If you go South Africa, they get Igbo King for there. If you go America, they get Igbo King for there. You understand? Now they're in charge of to look after the Igbo community, just like a chief. You see that kind of thing, right? Me, I don't get problem with that one because it's a normal thing for them to get king. No problem. It's even good for them, you know. But my problem now is say the agenda why I hear saying they push, it don't make sense to me. It don't make sense at all. Okay, now you did for Ghana as an Igbo king. I can't hear say they say go buy acres of land, allegedly acres of land somewhere. You want to create Igbo communities for there. Why would you want to create Igbo community in a different country? You understand? You want to create Igbo community, right? You might as well go to Nigeria. That one's even cheaper. It's even easier for you. Pack your Igbo people and go to Nigeria and go and create the community there. If you go to that one for there, it's better. Because now, if you want to create Igbo community now, why would you want to create Igbo community where only Igbos are there in a different country? What's the point of being in Ghana? You might as well go back to Nigeria now. Might as well move those people to Nigeria. You get my point? So, that's my point on that. The Ghanaian people should know that. Yeah? The Igbo king, no be Ghanaian king. That's different thing. You understand? You as a Ghanaian, you don't have to go and be worshipping Igwe. No. The king is meant for the Igbo people. It's not for Ghanaian people. You don't have to go and give him extreme respect like the Igbo people are giving. Of course, give him the due respect he deserves. And as long as you give that same respect back, it's okay. But you don't have to go and see him, go and table matter to him. No. You see how the table matter to the Ghanaian authority, to the Ghanaian chiefs and kings and all of that, right? If they don't see that this matter will involve the Igbo people, if you don't call the Igbo king, say, okay, see what your people they do. You understand? That's what it's supposed to be. But regardless, the Igbo people have the king wherever they go. It's normal to them. You understand? So me now, I don't want to say they get Igbo king for Ghana safe. Because I really want to say, the Igbo king they for Ghana, now that age they come from Nigeria, they come to a show for here. What did this king they do about them? All this crime, what they happen now for Ghana? What did this king they do to stop all this crime? Like a community, I don't go build. That community is not necessary. It's not really important. It's not important at all. What is important is getting those underage back to Nigeria. It's stopping those underage from coming to Ghana. What system are we creating to stop that? They say we get African free trading area, African free trading zone, right? This is supposed to enable us at Africa, not to travel within African countries. If we go trade, without paying tax, without paying for work permit and all of these things. But we are still paying for all of these things. What is this king doing about it? So there's a lot of matter on your table. The matter plenty for your table for handle first before you come to the young community. And the community, to me, is not really important. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It is not necessary. Anyway, peace and love to my Ghanaian people. Ghanaian Presido. You know the way you reach the end as usual. Comment Presido for comment section. Peace out, my people.
King of Igbos in Ghana, what happen? Now by force for you to be king for another man country. Ghana, the whole Ghana don't scatter because everybody, they talk about you. I understand. They say there's a normal tradition for every Igbo community in diaspora to have a king. It is a normal thing. But these Ghanaians are frowning at it. They say they don't want. They don't want. Get out. Get out now. It is not hard. They no put water for mouth where they talk calm. People are going to the streets protesting. Igbo must go. People are going to the streets protesting. People are filing petitions. And you build a throne in another man's kingdom, calling yourself a king. Now get mind though. And what Ghanaians, they will not take what they will not take. Like one Ghanaian content creator said, if somebody is in your sitting room and you don't complain when you come back home and find them in your bedroom. Oh yes, of course. You are in their home. They say they don't want another king in their kingdom. Besides, they don't see any work that you do. All they know you do is drive around with security. You are weirdly rich. Nobody knows what you do for a living. They carry a shower, they come Ghana. Underage girls, they come Ghana. Even recently, where Nigerians buy landlord. Even when Nigerians go thief people, things, tracing people inside expensive car from bank. Nobody they hear you, they talk anything. Nobody they see your action. There's also another video of people saying that you say anytime they catch bad person for Ghana, me they not say Nigerian, me they just talk the news without mentioning the nationality. Person send me DM, tell me things where Nigerians they do for Italy. Which part of the world now where they go hear Nigeria, where people eyes no go turn? What did they worry you? It is understandable. Everywhere Nigerians or Igbos are, there must be a king. Abi, we understand. But not do one for Ghana. When you go to Rome, you act like the Romans. No, because when you go to Rome, Romans act like you. It is not done like that. You get out. You go get out. Every time an Igbo, see another issue with these Nigerians in other countries, Igbo people, me na they try to talk to our leaders. I no one just blame una because deep down una know say plenty of our brothers too. And then they cause the problem to tarnish our images for outside country. Ghanaians they protest for streets say Igbos must go. See that because of una, the entire Nigerians, Yorubas, Benin, Calabas, those with they Ghana, because of una, may they pursue everybody. That road, me not just go demolition. Ghana government, me not just go demolition. I don't know who they pay una. Me not they give people title. In Ghana, the tradition is you have to be of royal descent to have a chieftaincy title or a kingship title. One thing supposed to lead to another. We be say go put you in that position. No be say go just wake up in the morning, maybe they call you king, do throne for another man kingdom. You know the shame. I hear say carry money go buy acres of land. To do what? Make it just based in a factory you want open or farm. People they allegate, they allege that you want to do your own kingdom for another man country. Which kind? Jesus Christ. After I go want to Biafra for Ghana now, there are content creators calling out their government to pursue all of now. Because when they give a small leg, because they be peaceful people now one carry 1 yard. They give an inch, now one take a kilometer. Why are you buying all that amount of land? And Ghanaian government, why are you selling so much land to somebody? Why are you selling so much land to somebody that is not a national? What does he want to use the land for? They say you want to do your own community. You don't do community for where you come from before. You want to build school. Your village gets school. You want to go and build free school in a country. You want to go and build education in a country that have free education. Or your village. Now, minimum wage they increase to 70k. Now never affect them. Where you come from, minimum wage, where they don't increase and never see effect them. People are uneducated doing courtism and you know if you come out on Mondays, go to the east. They do sit at home because all these Talibans and ruthless people they take over the streets. Go and watch videos of the east now. People they scatter people for markets. All of them the whole color want to go and be a king in another man's perfect land. As if they'll sit down, fold their legs and their hands and watch you do it. Now they wake up. Oh, the word is enough for the wise. Me, I be Ghanaian already. I have nothing to lose. If they pursue us from Nigeria, I go Ghana. If they pursue us from Ghana, I still go Ghana. They give you opportunity, make you hustle. Go hustle. Not gonna drag around with people who get. Who do you want to be in another man's country? Rumor has it that people they see you for occasions, they prostrate for you. A lot of people say you are a nice man, you are a calm man. Yes. A lot of people come, even on my life today, somebody came and said that man is a nice man. That man has never boasted or bragged. Yes. But the problem is, say, the bad things for your people they do for that country, where you instill yourself as king, no, we never hear you frown at them. The things we you don't talk, we go viral, we reach our ear, say you tell them, say they talk news, make they know they mention the nationality, because you know, say your people they do bad thing where. They pack Igbo girls from where you come from. Igbo girls, they pack them, they come Ghana. They can't say their kuntus. But what you don't talk, what you don't do about them? Not be by call yourself king. Ghanaians, they know they walk like that. They show walking. Ghanaians, they walk with evidence. They do plastic love. That your kingdom go scatter soon. You are supposed to be president of Nigerians or Igbos in Ghana. You're not supposed to be a king. You're not even supposed to be a chief. That is how they call them here in Nigeria. President of Ghanaians in Nigeria. Lekki branch. President of Ghanaians in Nigeria. Ikoyi branch. That is how they do it. They don't call themselves chiefs. If they call people chiefs, those people must be royalty. And if you want to be a chief or a king of your people in another man's country, you do that at your own house, not in another man's country. And Ghanaian government, you people should check this thing.
Your Royal Highness, sir. Good afternoon, sir, or good evening, sir, or good morning, sir. Depends on your current location. Sir, please, I am calling your attention to a pressing matter regarding your kingship in Ghana. Ghanaians are calling for protest that they don't want any king, any foreigner to be a king in their country. Sir, please, this matter is going too far. So many hate speeches around. I've explained to them that you are just a king to your Igbo's community. But they said no. They said they don't want any king for Ghana. Sir, please, you need to hold the press conference to address this issue, sir. Because from Igbo King, they are now turning the matter to Nigerian Moscow. So many hate speeches flying around, sir. Your Excellency, sir, please come and address this issue. If you can't hold the press conference, please try and grant interview with one of the top TV stations in Ghana to address this particular matter, because the agitations that Ghanaians are pushing concerning this matter, I don't like it. Your Excellency, sir, please address this matter. This matter is going out of hand. They said nobody, no foreigner is permitted to be a king in their country. Whether you are ruling one person or whether you are ruling 10 people that they don't want it. Sir, please, you need to hold a press conference regarding this matter. God bless you, sir. And Ghanaians, you guys should take it easy. This matter will be settled amicably.
Igbo King of Ghana. Honestly, I have met this man before. A celebrity friend of mine was having a program, and that was where this man was introduced to me for the first time. But I thought it was one of the norms, you know. People in other countries elect or select leadership in the form of a king, and this leader is supposed to stand in for them when their people are in trouble or something. When he was introduced to me a year ago, I thought that was the case until I chanced on his interview, and his plan for his kingship is to create another kingdom, another Igbo kingdom in Ghana. Who dare you? How dare you? Whom? Why would you want to create a kingdom in somebody else's country? If you want to create a kingdom, why don't you go back to your country and go and create your own kingdom there? See, if you don't know anything about Ghanaians, you should know this. When Ghanaians decide to descend on you, not even the president of the country can help you. Trust me. Take my word. And advise yourself, dear Igbo King.
First of all, this is the palace of the unrecognized Igbo King in Ghana. This is his palace. And this is just a snippet. You came to somebody's country, a sovereign country, and you built this on somebody's land. Sorry, if this does not show you the intentions, or if this is not a statement of intent, I don't know what to tell you. Even bona fide chiefs in Ghana don't have this. Not that they don't have the money to put up this, they can do this, but they know the history. And then you come, and then you build this with lions and... Come on. Oh, so this is Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, the Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Honorable, is this allowed in the folktale of the law, where another man will come to another man's country and build such a palace, calling himself king? Is he allowed for another person to come to Ghana and call himself king? Is he allowed, Honorable? Honorable, you are from the Bono region. How will you feel if this man put up such a palace in the Bono region? How do you think the chiefs will feel that another person is calling himself king of another tribe in Ghana? Honorable, you have to do something, because we the youth, we don't like this. You have to see him and tell him to change that thing, that king thing. Probably he can call himself the leader of the Igbo community. No one cares. But he calling himself a king is what we are not, is what we don't want to hear. So honorable, you have to do something and stop that man. And to the people in the Volta region, just know that they have this sub-chief, this Igbo sub-chief in Volta region, you understand? I'll do a separate video about that. But honorable, you really have to do something about this man calling himself king. And to the Nigerians saying that, you know, they have an Igbo king in every country. The only way I will stop talking about this, if you show me the Igbo king in North Korea. No, North Korea is too huge. If you show me the Igbo king in Syria, show me, and then I'll stop talking about it.
Mr. President, with all due respect, ya dance no go abontene. Ya dance no go abontene. Nigeria ni na I want to wasa for him okromo say we Igbo for him no we Igbo for king no with immediate effect. Let's dissolve it. Let's dissolve it because the Igbo free Yoruba no. Enya Ghana for you go free pa. You go free pa. So want to take drastic action. Ghana for we are coming to demonstrate to call for immediate sacking of all Nigerians from this country. Because from last month to this month, all the robbing cases is okromo saying Nigeria for half. Nigeria for half. Why is it you okromo be free cruise so ababo kono okromo say no never Mr. President, kindly sack them. Because in TIA say Igbo for him no Igbo for king no how acquire 50 acres of land ewa Accra. Eso ba be Igbo community, Igbo Nigerian community everybody yewu. And I will not serious because some people have bad record. The whole world they can't crow mu ya crofo with for ankasa umuto 7. The whole world umuto 7. Me e be allow mu ammo be ton community okuma say. And until Mr. President, Interior Minister Mutaka, Foreign Affairs Minister Kujata Brakwa, please start taking drastic action now. And yes sir, they see it tell now Pabo Ghana for Mumba Ghana no. The same thing, we will call for massive demonstration so that we will sack all the Nigerians from this country. Because so
you see, Ghanaians abroad, definitely they have leaders in Europe, in other African countries and all that. They have leaders. So it's actually not a new thing, you know. But the reason why I feel like Ghanaians are complaining about this particular Igbo king is that we all know Nigerians and the bad reputation that they have, one. And also, people are not comfortable with some of the moves that this particular Igbo king is making. Because we were in this country, then we saw a video of this Igbo king installing a Ghanaian as a chief, a foreigner installing a Ghanaian as a chief. You see, and this is one side of the story. We have also heard that they've bought some 50 acres of land and they are trying to do what? Build an Igbo community there. And these are some of the things that people are not happy about. You having a leader as an Igbo tribe or Igbo community in Ghana, I don't have a problem, because I know that in Ghana here, the Yorubas, they have their leader. The houses in this country, they have their leader. But portraying themselves as kings in another man's country is what Ghanaians are fighting against. Because these are some of the things that people say it has happened in other places. This Israel and Palestinian war that is going on, it's a similar story. So people are really not happy seeing this Igbo king portraying himself and doing what he's doing. Because if we sit aloof and we say we are not going to do anything as Ghanaians, it will gradually take a different turn and we wouldn't know how, or we might not know how to control it. So they are speaking out now for the leaders in this country to act. But this is one problem that I really have with our leaders. You know, remember when Nigerians took over Circle? Circle used to be Ghanaians, like full of Ghanaians, but it was in the law that no foreigner is supposed to go into retail business. You see, we sat and just looked at these people. They went into, like they came one by one, Nigerians coming to Circle, and they took over the whole entire Circle. And before we realized, the whole Circle has been taken over by Nigerians. It got to a time when you go to like Circle, it was all the shops. You understand? These are some of the things that Ghanaians are gradually complaining about. So if you are a concerned person and you respect the people, I feel by now you would have even come out to say something to put Ghanaians, their heart at rest, and let them know that you are not here for any bad whatever. But if this is what they don't like, you are going to stop or something. But we are not hearing anything, and he's still portraying himself as the king of Igbo people in Ghana, and he's still doing this. These are some of the little problems that I have with this particular Igbo king. Yorubas have their leaders here, Hausas have their leaders here. So why are we not talking about the Yorubas, or why are we talking about are we not talking about the Houses, but only the Igbo king? It's because of your moves. You know, for a very long time, some years back, me personally, I've seen them holding meetings, the Biafra meetings, meetings, Biafra meetings, and you see them wearing their t-shirts in Kasua, in other places. I've seen them in so many places. They go for their meetings, you see them rocking their shirt, Biafra. So I thought maybe they're trying to separate themselves from Nigeria. They just decided to come here and hold a meeting or whatever. But it seems like it is not about Nigeria, but perhaps it is going to be about Ghana, or it is about Ghana. They're trying to get a place here because they feel Nigeria, they are not welcomed, kind of. So they are trying to get a community here. You understand? When you travel to another man's country, what you need to do, or what you are supposed to do, is to integrate yourself into their culture. But rather you are trying to impose your culture onto them one video that I saw, he said he has sub-chiefs in other towns. And truth be told, I have actually spoken to one of his chiefs in the central region. I don't want to mention the town, but in the central region. And he says he is the chief in that area or in that town. See, gradually, I don't know what the leaders are doing. The National House of Chiefs, I don't know what they are doing, but I think they should act fast. Let him know his place as a foreigner in another man's country, and anything that he's trying to do, he should put a stop to it before it escalates into something else. You see, this is one thing that I am begging the leaders in Ghana to do. We need some action immediately, because Ghanaians are not happy, clearly, and some Nigerians are not even happy about this. So we need their action immediately. They should try and do something about it for us. Thank you so much for watching.